Is this the most tragic chapter in Yorkshire history? Is this the most tragic chapter in Yorkshire history? This is the final resting place of William Henry Pickering, a heroic Doncaster resident. He was His Majesty's Chief Divisional Inspector of Mines and winner of the scarcely awarded Edward Medal for heroism and bravery in mining. He died in the Cadeby mining disaster of 1912, on a day where there were so many deeds of personal heroism from men from all walks of life. William's wife, Alice, also rests here. She was twice Wimbledon finalist and a towering public figure here in Doncaster in her own right, universally respected along with her husband. But our story doesn't start here in Hyde Park Cemetery, Doncaster. It starts here in the ancient seat of Conisbrough, literally the King's Town. Let me take you back to the 8th of July 1912. In the shadow of this mighty Norman keep, George V strode up this embankment to the cheers of school children and well-wishers that had come to greet him from all around. It was part of George V's progress through the northern mining towns, and earlier that day, when seeking to connect with industry, business leaders around here and the miners as well, he had been the first British monarch to go down a deep coal mine. Over the course of the afternoon, George explored the keep and also the surrounding landscape, as well as spoke with various local dignitaries. A special enclosure was brought over from Wentworth Woodhouse for him to take tea here before he departed into the evening. While local people slept, stomachs and hearts full from the royal visit, 200 miners were working 75 metres underground. They were chipping away at the coalface to feed Britain's mighty industry, men of robust constitution and the patience of saints, exerting all of their energies for just a chance at a better life. Tragically, at about 2 a.m. there was an explosion underground. It was first felt on the very periphery of the mines by those fortunate miners who managed to escape. Experienced miners understood what this flush of hot air that had rushed past their face meant. In the initial early morning explosion, 35 men died, and 3 were taken to hospital and they later succumbed to their injuries. William Pickering, Chief Divisional Inspector for Mines for Yorkshire and surrounding areas, arrived on the scene at dawn. He was in his 52nd year of life, and he was accompanied by other well-seasoned inspectors. Just 2 years earlier, William had been awarded the Edward Medal for mining. The equivalent of this in the modern day is the George Cross, which is awarded for valour and civil bravery. Here was a man who had run the gauntlet of death thousands of times before. He'd worked his way up the civil service in India and in England, and he had an excellent track record for safety. Just after dawn, William Pickering was quick to coordinate the rescue efforts. This speed is mainly owing to the committed men of the pit of all social rank and file, be it miner, deputy or inspector, that wanted to go down the mines and help their friends and colleagues. Sadly, at around midday, there was news of the second explosion. Only 2 of the rescue team survived. The sad irony in all of this is that William Pickering should have been lunching with the King at the nearby Hickleton Hall when this occurred. As soon as they heard about the tragedy that had unfolded, George V, still in the area with his wife, the Queen, came to Cadeby and grieved with the local population. After William's death, Alice, his wife, poured her sorrows into public service and serving others. During the First World War, she oversaw the Arnold Auxiliary Hospital here in Doncaster, where she helped men that had been wounded in action. For her efforts in restoring the health of soldiers, Alice received the MBE in 1918 from King George V, the same king who had presented William with his Edward Medal for heroism all of those years earlier. In total, 91 men died in the Cadeby disaster. Exactly 100 years to the day, 2 monuments were unveiled, one here at Cadeby, Maine, as can be seen behind me, and one just down the road in Conisbrough. Following the aftermath of the events at Cadeby, there was an inquiry into both the causes of the explosion and the response on the day. The inquiry was quick to criticise the amount of unauthorised men who participated in the rescue efforts, but while this was perceived negatively, I think that this is telling of the men's brotherhood and their willingness to sacrifice themselves for their friends. Unfortunately, I must now draw a line under the Cadeby disaster and the lives of William and Alice Pickering, but I hope that you found it interesting, and I hope you will join me for my next video. Thank you.